customers, other clients, that they're fitting in the township audit work in between other agreed-upon timelines. So, it will be another month before we're able to have the 2023 audit updates. Not from lack of trying and lack of communication.
And they've said they have everything they need.
Yes, they 2 months ago or better, that, I followed up and they said, we have everything we need from Laura, from Heidi. It's just simply a timing issue at this point. Is that what everyone else understood from the board, from the
email?
Yeah. All right, moving on to the 2024 audit discussion. So, one of the questions that was asked of Andrew Huber, with our current auditor, of many, I think we have 7 outstanding questions that we don't receive answers to, is what the cost would be to complete the 2024 audit. And if they have time available, and again, crickets, and sending out reminders, and crickets, nothing. We were getting quick responses, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks ago, just dried up. So I know that Trustee List, and I believe Treasurer Pitt may also have went out to market to see if we have any audit options and suggestions for 2024.
For not the one way.
No, for next
The one
year.
that, yeah, I reached out, I called several townships, found out who their auditors were, talked with them. And the one that I got the best reviews on was Banga out of Mount Pleasant. I've reached out to them several times. They stated that they could, if we made a decision tonight, that they believe they could have this year's audit done and the F-65 filed by the end of September this year on time. They are aware of the issues we have with the bank recs not being done. They are aware of, everything. For the standard audit, they quoted us $14,125, which is, I think, on par with what we've been paying. If there's any other assembly work, such as helping with or doing the bank recs or any other outside of audit scope work, they charge $140 a month. And that would be billed separately.
So we already paid over $5,000 extra for them to have to do the work they had to do this year for the audit for 23, 24.
Right.
Our current provider.
That was right, the same ballpark.
So, yeah, it's, I don't see it as far as, from a talking straight cost perspective, I don't see a difference of much, like I said, between what we're paying Andrew's public. And, I did not have any correspondence with our current auditors up until 4 or 6 weeks ago when I started hounding them. And they have not been good response. So far, the gentleman at Banga has been fantastic. He's reached out several times just trying to see if any decisions have been made. And again, I understand communication did a job, and communication, once you have it, can be different. But considering it's taking this long to get our current one, I personally would prefer not to use our current auditors for another year. I would much prefer to go outside. The only quote I have is this one. I do not know if Treasurer Pitt has any, because I know she asked. I don't know if she went on one.
I dropped it.
Okay. So,
do we really have very many options?
no, I don't think we do. I mean, and considering I don't feel that this price is out of line with what we have. What we've taken in past years, I don't find this price out of line.
Can I ask what townships have used that company, and did they give any reviews as to how their communication has been with them, because they are current customers?
I think there's loading things to say. They get responses, they have people come out for a bit, they get hold of them, and they've never had late file. And, what's the other one? I'm trying to remember the other townships that told me that they used them and they had similar things to say, but I'm drawing a blank on which township. So,
Yeah, the community, yeah, basically good reviews.
yes, they were both very happy with them and have used them for years, and they have not had any issues. I mean, if something's found, it's brought to them, they work on it, get it fixed, but yes, it's not been.
Did they have a tentative date of when they can start?
They said that if we, whether we, me, you, Doug, whichever one of us sitting up here, were to reach out to them and say, yes, the board approved hiring you, they would start and get scheduled, and he said that within a couple of weeks, they could have us in their schedule.
Because we gotta get the adjustments made to 23, 24 before we can do anything for financial reporting for 25. So, we can't schedule them too quick because of that.
Well,
This is still gotta get finished.
we could still get them started on other stuff, or at least get them in have them get us in their schedule. And if they can't start till August 15th, yeah, they might not be done by September 30th, but that would not be a dead issue. And it wouldn't be August of next year till they're done.
So the second piece of this, we want to take advantage of their pricing for reconciliation.
I have paperwork here, but I'm not gonna pull it out. I spent, how many hours did we spend there? Quite a few.
No idea, I didn't track the hours.
Quite a few hours, and,
Over several nights.
yeah. My position does not require me to be a tax person. I'm not a numbers person. I will do the bank recs because it is my responsibility, but I want them cleared up before I take that responsibility back on. So if I need to make a motion to hire this company to get our bank recs back where they need to be,
No.
so I
This is
will
regarding missing
so do
entries.
so. Excuse me, I'm speaking.
But this is regarding missing entries. This is not about you getting them corrected on tax stuff. This is missing entries that need to be entered. That's all it is. Why would we pay somebody outside to do that?
So I will say the feedback from Andrews, Hooper, and Hadley, my understanding is it's probably more than that, because they had explained that entries were put in, and either Heidi would delete them, or that they were being deleted by someone. It's in the email from them.
That was for January, February, and March, because they said, I need you to do whatever you can to get it done. But every month, I send Laura the exact entries. MERS entries missing, Syntax is missing,
What was your?
Amazon is missing, deposit, or not a deposit, payroll stuff is missing. It's entries that are missing, plain and simple. If they would be made, solid waste is 2 months out because it doesn't have the GFL entries. That's it. If I can get those entries put in, GFL will match for 2 months. That's as simply what it means.
I didn't look at recent ones, because we can't balance recent ones till we go back all the way back. And
You could balance solid waste if you take a look at solid waste.
Okay.
The last 2 months cannot reconcile because they are missing GFL entries that I gave to Laura to make, and they're not being made. Simple. It takes 5 minutes. Make 1 entry a day. I realize you don't feel good. Make 1 entry a day. And you will get juice back. Guys, I've done accounting all my adult life. This is not that
we're looking
difficult. It's an entry,
Point
guys.
of order now. I had the floor, I was talking,
Well, you go ahead and
and
talk.
you took off over me. Now, this is enough.
Oh, we got your bags, come on.
So what do we want to do with, how do we want to proceed?
Okay,
We have 2 things here. The first thing is 2024 audit.
Okay, let's start with the audit. I would like to see us hire this firm for the audit. we can take the next step and discuss the bank cards, that's a whole separate issue. But for the price they're charging, the communication I've had and the feedback I've had on them, I mean, my opinion, and this might not be a good way to say it, I don't think it's gonna be worse than what we have now. And with the feedback I've had, I would expect that once they can get started, that they will move quickly. I mean, he knows the situation.
Yeah.
I've had multiple phone conversations with him, and they're willing to take this up.
The fact that we can't get our current provider to even
Talk to us.
tell us a price and answer 5 to 7 questions that we sent 3 to 4 times.
So, both Wybanga and Brad. And it's pronounced Bo, even though it's spelled B-O-D.
It's pronounced what?
Bo.
Okay.
So I guess I'll make a motion that we hire both Wybanga and Bradley to perform the current year audit.
I will second that.
Okay, so it's been moved in second to hire both
Wybanga.
Wybanga and Bradley. So, trustee list,
Yeah, just for the audit, and yes.
okay, treasurer Pitt,
No.
trustee Ryber,
Yes.
as clerk I will say yes, and supervisor Kruger.
Yes.
So, Mark, do you want to?
I can reach out to them
have
tomorrow.
get a hold of me, so I can get the information, and we'll go from there. And this is their price right here.
$14,125, and again, that is just the audit, we still have to discuss and decide on the other aspect of this,
Okay.
that, for the audit, yes.
So we can start on that.
Yes.
Yep, we can let them know, I will talk with him and find out, he knows that ours isn't done, he knew our auditor was, I assume they have something they can look at into
What did the previous boards do?
We had
We didn't have this problem.
We had a different auditor.
So can I ask if Laura and Mark can sit for days and hours to get it figured out, and Heidi's saying she knows what the problem is, why the 3 of us can't sit down and figure it out?
It'd be simple.
I'm just curious.
That was actually-
You guys are board members and you should be working
That was
together.
one of my next
I
questions.
see a lot of animosity between Laura and Heidi, towards Heidi,
Well,
so I'm
that's
trying to figure it out.
that was where my next question was going to be.
Why you can't sit down together and figure it out?
It's
Why
simple.
pay an auditor to do an entry? I understand you're frustrated because you've been out, but like, I know it's been an ongoing issue for many meetings.
I've been working from home. I have been working.
Nobody said you haven't, but if you.
When
work
Heidi
hours-
took over on it,
I would just wonder what happened in the past. is all.
when Heidi took over on it, there were things that she did that the past ones did not do. When Ron did payroll, Ron then gave it to the treasurer to do it. That is not how it's
Okay,
done
but to
now.
point the fingers, it is what it is.
No,
Last
I'm
month,
saying
the
Ron's
meeting,
right
Heidi
there.
wasn't here, and you
And we
weren't
made
here,
some
you said you were
decisions.
taking it back over. So I'm just generally asking, if you and Mark can sit for days and hours and figure it out, and Heidi knows what the problem is, why can't the 3 of you sit down? You make a special meeting any other time.
Point of the reconciliations to make sure both books go together. So each one needs to do their separate jobs. It's not a matter of one doing both jobs,
That's
or
what
two
they have to
sitting
do.
down together.
What
The treasurer does their reconciliation, and the clerk makes sure that the books reconcile to what the treasurer has. It's checks and balances. It's not a working together. It is checks and balances to make sure our money as taxpayers.
So let me ask Heidi this. If you know what the pensions need to be, if I were to come in and sit with you and we fill out the debit credit sheets to know what those are, you're Well, if it's entries that need to be made, I wanna make sure I'm understanding this correct. If it's entries that need to be made, you need to do the entry. So, I'll sit with my.
That's what I did with the three things. I ran 3 reports, used all 3 reports. I took the GFL statements. I took what was entered into the system. I can compare those lickety-split. But you're saying,
They have to match the invoice, Laura, they're getting paid by invoice. You can't do one invoice with this one and one invoice over here. You have to do it the way the payment is submitted. And I did total up your invoices, and they don't agree with the entries that we made. So those either have to be changed and corrected, or they have to be completely voided out. It's not a big issue, it shouldn't be anything that make anybody upset. It's something just simply we make the entry.
So I'll call you tomorrow, Heidi, we'll set up a couple hours, we'll come in and look at it, and I can be the intermediary, and
I just don't like how it's all coming down on me, that's my fault.
this isn't your fault or your fault. This is just.
And
That's what I just heard.
And the process has changed because the former auditor provided additional details than what our current audit firm is providing. From a GL.
The previous auditor used Bill Stewart's books and adjusted accordingly. I don't keep a separate set of books. So we don't have that luxury of having a quick correction.
Well, and here's the thing, if we can't start next year's audit until we get the one from our current auditors, that gives us a month to work on.
Yeah.
If we're at the same spot in a month, then we have a different discussion. Because even if we were to sit here and say, yes, let's hire these folks to bank crack them, they can't do much till this audit's done anyway.
Right.
So this gives us a month to try this.
Yeah, if you can't do it.
And if it doesn't, then we have a different discussion.
Just
And I'm
drop
very
me on the
willing.
sheets and I'll start on there
Yeah.
between tax customers. And then I will get these entries ready for you one by one and you can start getting them entered. Be simple.
I don't need that. I don't need you to do my job.
Okay, then I'm confused.
So you know what needs to be done to fix it, or you don't?
Do I know what needs to be done to fix it? I'm not sure how to reverse all the entries that I made for payroll that she reversed and did her own. I'm not
Here's the thing, it's something both of you need to sit down with Doug, and Doug as supervisor, you need to figure it out amongst
Well,
the staff.
that's a whole nother discussion, but really what needs to happen is the first plan, because Mark needs to sit
If
down
they
with
wanna
Heidi,
do that, that's fine.
and then we can go from there, because Mark's already sat down with you a couple
Yeah.
times, and his head was spinning, right? So, now, it's a good time to sit
We'll
with
do,
Heidi.
we'll do solid waste right off the bat with those 2 entries done. And turn right around and those 2 months will reconcile and then we'll start with the next one. But they're all intertwined because I make the transfers, I make that entry. You make the ACH payment with payroll, I don't make that entry. We just have to make sure we're not overstepping those entries, that's all.
And maybe we need to document this.
Well, that's what the sheets are for.
I mean,
Yeah, I will call you tomorrow, and we'll get some time set up. And, Laura, this isn't a he said, she said,
No,
Heidi's
no,
blaming
just
you, you
get
blame
it
Heidi.
done. Period.
Where we sit today, I don't feel a crap huge problem with it, or fault it is, we need to fix it. And if maybe in the intermediary, she take you some time with Heidi and you, we'll give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, we'll have a different discussion in the next one.
And we need to document as well, who's responsible for what. Not just the debits and credits to correct this, but who does what and when, right? Because again, things are different than they were in the past.
A definite, absolute, a definite division.
Right, right. I make these entries, you make these entries,
Yes.
right? Let's get it black and white.
And, you know, yeah, so.
Okay, anyways. 4 accounts, so it's not like it's 22.
Right.
The other 17 balance fine every month, so we've only got to concentrate on 4 accounts.
Okay,
No, because payroll's coming up. And it's gotta be done a different way than what it's been done.
So in the process of trying to determine whose job is who, what have you found out in regards to payroll?
I called MTA, and my responsibility is to do payroll from the beginning to the end, and upload it into the bank, and then Heidi's responsibility is to release the payroll into all of our accounts. And then in our packets, we would get the payroll paperwork. Heidi and I sat down for quite a while in the beginning, and we made forms. We created these forms. These forms, within a couple of months, are of no use to me because somehow things got changed, and she was, when she's doing the uploading, which she's not supposed to be, it's supposed to be me because of the separation of the two jobs. She was also making entries that I was making.
No.
And,
I'll open those books up for anybody who wants to see them, that is in.
I really wish I could just say what I wanna say without being interrupted. So I need a potty break. I need a potty break. Sorry.
All right, that's fine. Take a bite.
It was in the agreement with county that we would have a yellow book audit done yearly. Is the yellow book audit still being done yearly?
Then since he's still living the same copy that we've always had.
So it's the same. So then, for this audit, we would have the funds and then, whatever you're saying.
That's what
There is a lot of financial. I mean, maybe the non-auditors
So,
do.
no, we would have to send a copy to county, so that they could see that it was,
And again,
and it's a yellow book audit. So the 23 one that's behind.
it's not, that 23 one is not behind, with the exception of it's waiting for the finals. The final F-65, that's all they're waiting on, but the county has the
The
other.
county has what they need for the water bond.
I just wondered if it was still a yellow book audit, because there's.
So what do we need to do from a payroll change in the work process based on LTA's discussion? And I know you've also reached out to a couple other clerks and also other things that this was.
The payroll and the entries on payroll are for the clerk to do. That's the clerk's responsibility. and then to upload it, once I'm done in the BSNA system, I am to upload it to the bank, and then, when it's time, then the treasurer releases it. That's all she does right then. Then, in our packets, I would be giving you what I have been giving you right along. What everything, the amounts of everything. Those entries I make. She just does the transfers from general to payroll and fire to payroll. I make the entries into the system. I would be giving you guys all of this so she knows what's coming. She knows she has to make the transfer from fire to payroll to cover the MERS and all of the things that are due. So if after payroll is done, say we had another situation like we did in a couple of months ago, that would go through as it was, but we would correct any given mistakes the next month. It's flows better, you will have better paperwork to show. So, but that's the way that MTA said it is supposed to be done. I'm not supposed to be putting it on a flash drive and giving it to Heidi to upload to the bank and then also release it because she's doing both things.
The only difference, if I'm understanding what you're saying right, the only difference would be, you're gonna do everything you do now, and then you're gonna upload it to the bank, and Heidi will continue doing what she was doing from that point. The only difference that you're talking about is uploading it to the bank.
Uploading it to the bank, and she is not to make any entries of payroll, any entries for fire. That is up to me to do.
So she transferred money from fire to payroll.
Once I give her.
She would transfer it to the bank, she would tell you, and you would make the journal.
No, I have the journal entry, I do the journal entry, I give the paperwork, and then she knows what is to be done. In the system, the payroll's gonna be loaded. All she has to worry about in the beginning is pushing a button to release it. If there's a mistake, and we're all sitting here, and we see there's a mistake, then you say, Laura, I got missed on one per diem.
Okay, so I'm not trying to be stupid, but I'm trying to understand, so I'm a little confused. Right now, you are giving Heidi a flash drive. She is uploading it to the bank and releasing it. Who's doing the journal entries?
I am.
Okay, I just asked you where you said no.
She is reversing some of mine and
I'm
redoing
not
them.
reversing. I need my time to talk on this.
Hold on, so can I finish? Okay, so I'm going to argue your point just for the moment, and then I'm going to argue Heidi's, if I understand. You're doing the entry, Heidi's uploading it and releasing it from the bank.
Right now, yes.
Okay. What you're talking about is you'll do the entry, you'll upload it to the bank, she'll release it. So the only difference that I'm seeing here is the entries that you're claiming Heidi is reversing. Is that and if she is or isn't, for this argument, let's say you are, okay?
She's uploading it to the bank.
Right, and releasing it. But if she's not doing the entries, as she states, then the only difference I'm understanding is you're uploading it to the bank. Am I missing?
According to what you just said, but are those not journal entries that were just made on this last? And that wasn't me that made those.
again, I don't know the BSNA and how everything works, so, but I'm looking at it. So, your argument is, this should not have been done by Heidi. Okay, alright, so, I think Heidi has every right to look at that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let me clarify what that is.
Yeah.
You gave it to me.
$7,000 because the payroll was wrong, I uploaded the wrong one. I made a mistake.
We're not talking about that one, this is the one after.
Secondly, once that wrong amount is made and I transfer the money, I had to transfer the money back because we didn't pay that much payroll. Okay? So it was wrong. So I corrected my entry only. I don't touch your entries. It clearly says Laura and Heidi. It's very simple to see. So secondly, I didn't change them. This is the report that I give you every month to show you what I transfer for payroll, for fire, and for general only. I do not do anything else. This is your amount of the ACH payment.
What's at the top?
That's where I transfer the transfer, for the money to be put in the account. I have to do that when I make a transfer. You don't want me to make the general transfer to payroll? And as far as the payroll, wasn't even in our packet tonight. And
That's
secondly,
because I got that from you.
you get
and
this
I
every month.
No, that was the first time.
No,
May I
it's
get it back?
Every single month I have given it to you. Since the auditors were here last fall. They're the ones that showed us that report was there. And that's how I know the total amount to transfer, so that the money is there when the payroll goes through. Otherwise, I could be waiting a week and we'll be overdrawn.
Okay, so you're making the transfer in the bank. You're calling the
Yes.
bank or doing it online or however you do it, I don't
Yes.
care.
Correct,
And then you are making that journal entry?
correct.
Okay.
That's a requirement because I transferred the money.
Okay, and what, Laura, if I'm understanding what you're saying is, she should call the bank, log on, do whatever she's supposed to do,
Okay.
and transfer, hold on, transfer the money. But you're supposed to make the journal entry. Is that,
So
I
this
wanna,
is-
I just wanna
I wanna show
understand.
you this, you see that every month, that is something that Heidi and I created together. If I'm not supposed to be doing that, then why did we create that?
You wanted to know what the net was, what the gross was, and how I calculated the amount of transfer. With this new report that the auditor showed us, we don't need to sit there and calculate it because it's given to us. And it tells us exactly what the MERS is gonna be at the 15%, it tells us exactly what fire's portion is, and that's how I know how much to take from fire. I take those two totals, I put it into the fire, or take it into due to fire, or due to general, due to payroll, whatever it's called, due to payroll, and then in turn, I have to then take it out of due to payroll from payroll, and then put it in the payroll account. It's 6 little lines, I do that, and then I do the same thing for general. And it's off that major report, which is why I give it to Laura every month to show her, and then I give her the transfer slip.
So this is saying that if you change it, then you would not be making those transfers?
No, I'm the only one out of all of this board that can make these transfers.
Right.
And that's what you say are releasing the funds, is that
No,
correct?
that's the ACH payment.
So your transfers is.
I'm approving the payroll, and then I'm releasing it after it's approved. So I have to go by every sheet, everybody's time sheets, and all of that to approve it.
And I don't know why the past treasurers never did that.
Okay, so
I bet if we call the past treasurer, we'll find out.
So that's what you're talking about, the approval, is that it would need approval, you wouldn't have
Oh,
to
no,
approve
I'm
it.
required to approve it.
But she's saying that it's not, you would just help, you
It's the
upload.
same thing with the check, Deb. If she writes a check, when she writes the checks, she gives them to me, I double check that that is